stream. We're going to be drawing Elric today. So while I go and share this stuff out, be patient with me here for a second. Hope everybody's having a good one. All right. So I've got a bunch of stuff up for Elric. Elric's one of my favorite characters. So hopefully I will make. Hopefully I'm gonna make this pretty good. It, I'll be sad. I wasn't totally happy with Raphael, so I'm actually gonna deal with him again later in a separate illustration, probably as next to like after all this um, uh, after all this October, Inktober stuff dies down because I wanna do the same idea, but I wanna nail it in my style rather than trying to copy the Laird style and Eastman's stuff. So that hopefully will happen afterwards. Raph's my favorite character of the turtles, next to Leo. Well, he and Leo, but and Mikey. Donnie's kind of like I respect them all, and they all kind of have a place in my heart, really. But those three are kind of like the top tier for me. Donnie's cool though too. They're cool. Raph's my favorite though, just because he's the contrarian, right? He's the rebel. All right. So, but I like Leo because he's honorable, and he is the one that they that will bring them together, right? Make it all work. Okay. So let's see here. So let's grab this. I'm gonna make a post. Boom. But everybody's got to have a little bit of Raph in them, I think, or a lot. All right. So let's see here. Um, Post that, and then I'll go post this in a few other places. And while I'm waiting, while we're doing this, please go check out my, or go if you are interested in following the Borderlands project. Um, uh, my brain is totally dead. Today's date night. Like after this, I'm going to be totally shutting everything down and like relaxing. But if you want to follow along with the Borderlands project, Sandbox project, go check out Patreon. All the links are in the description or in the on my Twitch page. You can follow my link tree. Go check everything out. But it's on my or not, but it's on my Patreon. So it's at the bottom of the Patreon. So go check that out. It tells what it is and how you can support it and all that stuff. So that is a good place to go, Jill, and check it out. Okay, so we'll do that, and then that, and then that, and then we're going to get out of that. Discard. All right. I said discard, and it made me think Magic the Gathering. Made me want to play. Make somebody mill their shit. All right, so let's see. We'll go drop this in. I just made a new deck too. But my favorite one, even now, my favorite one is uh what is that? My favorite one is um Mariki. She's my favorite. And I'm getting her back up to speed. I rebuilt her, but she's not like the bionic woman yet. she's she's not better, but I have the technology to make her pretty sweet. So eventually, I'm slowly building her to be badass that she was before I had to sell all my Magic cards. Slowly rebuilt my collection a little bit. I had to sell all of my cards at the beginning of COVID because everything like fell apart, and I needed to have money for rent and food and everything else, and that was the only thing I had of value I could sell that really, and it broke my brain and my heart pretty much because those cards were. I'd been collecting them since the game came out, so I was like 13 when I started collecting all that stuff, or no, less younger than that. She's 10, maybe. What, 93, I think. So I was like 9. So that was a heartbreaking decision to make. Let's see. Let's go to LinkedIn. But I'm happy with the oh. Somebody just posted an illustration of Athena on LinkedIn for their Inktober drawing. Oh my god, it's awesome. Oh man. Oh, Athena, for those of you that don't know, is very special to me. Wow. That's cool. Very weird. It was at the very top of the thing. Wow. That is crazy. Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That just made my night. That's awesome. That just made my night. That's totally rad. Awesome. Man, that's totally cool. Huh. So I have a bunch of images up. I'm going to be talking about all the stuff that I mean, Elric is a huge character for me. Uh, he's yeah, I in the past he was big for me. I still respect the character, and he doesn't have the same place in my like inner mythology that he used to. But as a character of modern myth and legend and all that stuff and fantasy and everything, as a character, he's a fascinating character. An anti-hero. He is. Let's see, an anti-hero, a character who is just a tortured soul. I mean, he's kind of like the beast, right? He falls within that same realm of characters that I really enjoy, which is like, I have a very deep love for Beauty and the Beast stories. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite story, and he is very much like that, right? He is a character that is kind of has to always just kind of feed that monster, right? He has this magic sword that has a demon in it that it gives him power, it makes him strong, and he can't throw it away even though he wants to. It's like an addiction, right? But he has to feed its souls. Like he has to feed this sword souls to survive, but it makes him strong too. And he ends up going out and using the power that the sword gives him and he to fight these like crazy demons in the multiverse and stuff. It's bonkers. It's the books are crazy because they go from like kind of standard fantasy where you're like kind of tromping around in the in whatever world Elric is in, like he's usually in his world. He's a facet of the same guy from like a variety of different worlds. So imagine that you're watching Sliders, or you're watching if you ever saw that show, or you're thinking, or like comic books, like the various worlds have all the different um, Earths and stuff, and there are different people on the same person on each Earth, but they're a little different. He's like that. It's like there are different worlds. He's a facet. These different. He's just another facet of the same guy, and they all come together every now and again, and they to fight some giant threat in like the where the in like the it, what is it, the astral plane or something. They go out into like fight these extra planar demon things, and but they all have to come together to do it. So it's crazy, and then they get all Cahulan, right? Like where they because if you've ever any of you are familiar with that character, um, he's an Irish folk hero who, when he would rage, he's like a normal strong person, but he would when he would go into like the blood rage that he had, it would like his skin would like turn inside out and his hair would go crazy, and it was crazy. It was like totally weirdo Irish, like imagination. Like it's stuff that's like out there, and that's the kind of stuff that happens in the like multiverse place. And but ultimately though, Elric as his own like as him as Elric, he's tragic, right? He is like he's always killing his friends because he goes on these grand adventures and ends up like killing the people that go with him because he has to, right? It's like the sword needs the souls, or it like overcomes him and he can't help it. So it's really kind of crazy. He's a cool, interesting, complex character, and it makes him fascinating. There are others, though, that Michael Moorcock, the writer, the author of Elric, has created, like Count Brass and what is that? Hawk. What is his name? Something Hawk. There's also I can't remember them all right off the top of my head. I know them all, but I can't think of them right off the top of my head. But there are a bunch of them, and there are a bunch of stories. So you can go read those if you want. But the illustrators that I have always admired for working on Elric are all kind of displayed here. So these are my favorite images of Elric, and what inspired me to paint this. Actually, this is my painting that I did a few years ago of Elric, and is my favorite of my pieces because it was a total labor of love. I love this painting. It was fun to make. It was fun to paint, and uh, it was just like the culmination of a bunch of ideas I had about this character for a long time. And this is another sketch I did, an acrylic painting of him that I made one time. That before I made this, I wanted to kind of capture him to see if I could just capture his essence, somehow. And then this was a drawing, just a sketch, that I made of him like sitting on his throne. He's like the last of this royal line of like sorcerer king guys. So he's this, but the thing with him is and different people depict him differently. So he's supposed to be this kind of weak, not like kind of anemic character. He's albino too, which is also interesting. So everything about his character to me is interesting because he's not just like a normal white guy, or he's not just like a normal good guy, right? Like he's just upstanding, goes and fights the bad guys and everything like that. No, he's unique all the way around. He's different even for his own people, and he's the last of his kind, pretty much. And he has this really kind of dark but complicated story. And I'm not usually into the really dark kinds of heroes. I like the complex heroes, but generally I like the good guys, but also the bad guys. But with him, it's not just like the writing made him interesting, but then also the from a visual standpoint, he's fascinating. You can do so many cool things with his skin, with the weirdo like acid fantasy shit that Moorcock invented back in the 70s, and like there's so many cool weird things that happen in these stories that make amazing uh, visual fuel, so it's awesome. And this is Brahm's depiction of Elric. Brahm is a pretty well-known fantasy painter, and this is pretty sweet. And this is cool because we ended up having the same solution for the souls coming out of the sword, which I think is fascinating. Like the faces in the magic or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And this is my favorite depiction of him that Brahm has done. And Brahm is a great artist to capture Elric, actually, because his color palettes tend to be very muted, but you also get these really cool injections of like warmth in there. I love that about Brahm. It's like he has these really neutral, cool palettes, and then he just pops in these really crazy, even like they're not intense. Like if you singled out these little notes of oh yeah, these little notes of warmth in these paintings, they wouldn't be as warm as they look in this painting. So it's really fascinating, except for these reds. These reds are pretty popping. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. He's a master of that kind of thing. And then you have Jack Galgan, which I think is how you pronounce his name, but don't quote me on that. He is one of my absolute favorite illustrators of Elric. I love the very kind of, um, what's the word? Like these color field type of flat shapes that he uses. It's very abstract. It's very simple, and these are book covers, which is why they're designed this way. You see how they have all space up above and everything. Is because they're book covers. So same, I think, with this too. There's space for text, and this is him fighting one of the weird alien monster things, like the demons that inhabit the weirdo planes that Elric goes to, and of course he's albino, so his eyes are red, right? And here's another one. This is my favorite. I love this. I love it so much. And I love this type of work quite a bit. This actually inspired again this artist and inspired my painting of Elric specifically. The helmet. That's my nod right there. Even though it's not as high, that's my nod to Jack Galgan, because this painting is, I mean, amazing. I love this painting. And compositionally, color-wise, you have these really weird, cool blues and these reds and warm colors, and there's this rhythm of blue and of cool and warm that just kind of happens in the whole thing. You have the cool here, cool, and then these colors that just frame it all up and make for a really interesting composition. It's compositionally balanced too. It's this cool pyramidal triangular structure. It's very stable. Really cool. Michael Whalen is my favorite artist when it comes to depicting Elric. He the level of detail that he uses. I think if I spoke to Michael Whalen, I would imagine that we would both have a very similar appeal. I think Elric would have a very similar appeal for both of us, and because I mean I look at this my painting was specifically kind of a response to, definitely inspired by Michael Whalen. I mean, you can't even. There's no. There's no. You see it. It's not. There's no being away from that. So, but I have no problem with that at all. At all. This is awesome. This is not where I'm going to be going. This is another Mike Whalen. I want to do something with this type of costume. I'm not sure if I want to use this type of line work, but I like this costume. I want to do something along those lines. Again, Michael Whalen, a study for a really kick-ass painting that he did that I did not upload, because I'm going to challenge whoever's watching this to go look this up, because this painting is really cool. And let's see, cover, and then okay, even though he's not as inspiring to me as Michael Whalen, Robert Gold made my favorite book covers for Elric. I didn't read the Michael Whalen cover Elric books. I read the Robert Gold books, and those books, his illustrations are phenomenal. I think Michael Whalen captures the spirit of Elric and captures the alien kind of weak yet powerful spiritual side of Elric, and really gets in with the details and creates this interesting kind of sorcery character that's really cool. And I think he captures Elric really well. And but my favorite depiction of Elric is this guy, mostly because I like the style of painting, and I like and in some ways it's nostalgic for me because these are the books I read, but I also specifically pick these out when I go to the bookstore because I really enjoyed these covers a lot, and they're very stylized. So it's kind of this cool Art Nouveau type of layout for these paintings or drawing, or I guess they're watercolor. And you know, Robert Gold is just crazy. I mean, it's awesome. He has Stormbringer with cool runes on it. So, and this was my nod to Robert Gold was in the sword. So you can see the way the runes are depicted on the sword. So that was, you that this painting was like a love letter to everything I love about Elric and the artists that helped shape him for me over the years, but then also how I imagined him. So I tried my best to capture all of that in one piece. And this was. I mean, I don't see that this is the interesting thing. I don't think Robert Gold was as he didn't capture Elric the way I saw him. What I love about his drawings and paintings is that they're beautiful and well laid out, and I think they do capture the spirit of Elric. But I think more than anything, I enjoy just the sheer beauty of paintings. I'm from a design perspective to the technique to the draftsmanship, all of it. I mean, it's there, and he captures El. Even though I don't think clothing wise and everything like Elric, I think the way I imagined him, I think he captures Elric's character, right? Like look at the delicacy in his hands. Elric's very effete. He's not like a big strong warrior. He's a delicate little dude. And the sword's the only thing that makes him strong. So he was born sickly. So he's really, I feel like he captures a lot of that. That energy with Elric. And I like that. Unlike several other painters, I mean, Michael Whalen. That's what I like about all of these artists. Actually, is that they didn't make. Although Michael Whalen does paint and draw him like this too. These paintings aren't like showing him huge and bulky and massive and like a total roid rage warrior. I mean, look at him. I mean, he's thin. He's not, and that's how I kind of imagined him. Is this? He's a contradiction, right? He's a powerful warrior that is only powerful because his sword gives him the physical power, but mentally and he's strong spiritually too in a way and mentally, but it's his physical strength is contrasted with his typical weak mortal form, right? So I feel like he captures this really well, and a lot of these paintings capture that side of Elric. This is a little stronger, closer to the way I depict him here. This is supposed to be him at when he's infused with the power of the sword, but also I made sure to keep it kind of thin. Like you see the muscle, but he's pretty thin still. Like he's not huge, and that cuirass is encasing a body that's thin, right? That cuirass isn't like pressed up against his body, super super tight. Although it is tight, there's room under there for his body, so he's thin. He's not huge, and yeah. So that's and I wanted his face to really capture, the power of that comes over him. Like he's not himself here. He's been possessed by whatever it is, the Ariok that lives a sword. So this drawing, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I kind of want it. I want to do something not quite as intense. Oops. I don't want to do something quite as intense for Elric. You know what? I'm going to leave him off because I don't want to be influenced too much here. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Yeah, so Elric as a character is really interesting, and he's interesting to paint, and he's interesting to depict. He's like an artist's character, right? Like if you design a character to be depicted by an artist, that would be interesting and very cool to illustrate. Elric would be one of those. All right, so how do I want to? So yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna start goofing around because I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I want it to be kind of simple. I don't want it to be all crazy, but I want to spend forever. This is my date night, and it's Inktober, and I just want to make sure I get something done. But you know what? I'm kind of getting. I need to let go. So hang on. See what happens here. Hmm. That's interesting. Something I didn't think about at all. Oh, crazy. I wonder if I could pull it off. Huh. This could be very fascinating. Okay. All right. All right. So we'll give it a shot. See what happens. I have no idea. I'm just gonna kind of lay shit in right now and kind of pick this out. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I'm looking off this way. It's definitely different than other things I've drawn, which is what I'm kind of going for. This will be really interesting. I'll make this like this really stylized too. This statue that he's standing behind. Put his hand right here. He doesn't have Stormbringer yet. No, he hasn't Stormbringer yet. He's just standing there. It's almost like you can see the future. It's or he's because it his whole situation is I mean he's a sorcerer, right? He's a sorcerer king. So I mean, wow, I'm actually covering a lot of them up. That's a really fascinating choice. Huh. Make them really thin. I'll try and not make this statue so huge that yeah, we'll just put him on a wall or something. Like he's hanging out on a wall, high up on his castle, you know, looking out. Hmm. We'll create a little three-quarter view on this head. Get interesting. But I also want this dragon to be stylized, like would something instead of being total realistic dragon, some kind of cool sculpture that would decorate the halls of Melnibone. The palace that he lived in. Oh yeah, legs right here. Although it's going to be very, yeah, we'll put the gargoyle. It's just going to be sitting here. It's going to be standing back behind it. Yeah, and the legs are, very stylized, not totally realistic. Something that, yeah, and it'll just kind of merge into the wall there. Yeah, he's just standing, body facing this way. head facing that way. Maybe in like cold dawn hours, he's just out there watching. Oh man, it'd be cool if there were these this statue had like gold horns on it. You know, like parts of it were gold and made of precious stones and stuff. You know, like the horns are gold, the teeth are gold. Maybe we'll open the mouth, you know, and it's just it like everything about it is really extravagant, like the glory of Nimine before it falls, you know. I kind of like that. Maybe have some other part of him, like he's got this torque type thing holding his whatever he's wearing, his gown or robe. Uh, and he's just up on the wall, just looking out. Yeah, and this wing is gonna go. My it was arm day, so my arm I've got up here and it's like shaking. Oh man, this is gonna be real simple back here. Have the one wing kind of overlapping the dragon head. Yeah, my arm's shaking. That's hilarious. Okay, that'll be really thin. The neck comes down. Gotta make sure. Where's our eye level? Hang on, I gotta find out where my eye level is. It's gonna be up on him, I think. I kind of like. I have his hand on the neck of the dragon, but I kind of like this idea that his hand is in his hair. He's not. No, I need more room for that. Maybe I will put on the neck. Yeah, right here. Right here. Yeah, just to show that. Bird. What kind of bird? Hmm. A lot of blue jays. I've seen several blue jays and a cardinal. Okay. That's the. We're gonna. I'm gonna open this up just a little bit to show. Oh yeah, because he's gonna have like a robe over his almost Roman-like tunic. Yeah. Oh yeah, like two layers. That'll be great. And then we can have this really baggy, billowy type of fabric that's coming out. Yeah, son. And yeah, yeah, it's like blowing this way. Creates motion there. Wings. This is very stylized dragon. I don't want this to be yeah, like something too realistic looking. Although it will kind of be. And I'll draw the teeth and all that shit when I get in there. And then we'll have the mouth with the tongue. With the membrane that connects the jaw, right? Okay. And then the way that the jaw shape works, like a lizard so that like the two halves interlock. Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna. Do I give him crown? His hair's gonna be blowing. I feel like I need more room up here. There we go. Just go smaller. All right. And then we're gonna give this dragon a crest, little one, not a big one. Like it'll disappear a little bit as the head's turning. Yeah. And this will just kind of get lost. I'm not gonna put like a ton of fucking time to this thing. I mean, it's gonna get a good deal, but I also want to make this nice and quick for Friday date. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's figure out Elric. I want him to look tragic, but thoughtful, pensive. I'll design that in the inking stage probably. Give him like a little point sharp nose. No, his head's at the wrong angle. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I need, and we'll go and get into ink. Ink. All right, so let me. Oh, I didn't show you the Yashi Takamano. Oh, hang on. Yashi Takamano illustrated him too. And who doesn't love this guy? I mean, seriously, this illustrator is amazing. I mean, I'm so happy that when they released Final Fantasy III to America, and that they kept his artwork in the game. In the game. Oh my God, so many times they hire the illustrator and they come up with it. An illustrator is this like really atmospheric and style specific person that's definitely not somebody who gets totally sucked into whatever like style or thing is popular. The guy was like his own deal, and they just kept it all. It was amazing. Artwork was in game, and along with the style of the game, which was different, but paired with his work was this consistent, unified thing. Man, like this guy's stuff is bonkers. I mean, he's actually the perfect person to capture this character. Perfect. There's no one to me that is more perfect to capture Elric than him. That's why I included this on him. The sad thing is there's not more. I love this is my favorite one of his depictions. So that's pretty awesome. Which that just inspired me to add something, some sort of. But the dragon's on a. I want something ridiculously long. Something that would really be crazy. like a crown. It's not a helmet, right? So his hair is like, you know, oh, but there's like a ridge on top. Oh yes. So it sits on his helmet, on his head like a helmet, but his hair is underneath, right? Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So his hair is still billowing out of the bottom of it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I'm gonna do my best to make this quick without rushing. If I'm a little quiet for this one, that's because I am really focused. I think the last couple, I've been pretty quiet on. And this is going to be a little different than how I would have depicted him in the past, I think. Because in the past, this I would have been a bit more uh, I guess it's just a different depiction. He's not in his super raged up form. He is himself. You know who else would have been a good person to? I think he did. I'd have to check though. Um, Don Mates would be another good one. If you haven't heard of Don Mates, highly recommend that you check him out. You know what? I'm gonna do another nod Galgan here. I'm leaving all of it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this a lot of this just alone. And this will merge into, yeah. That. Right, leave it and do that. And then I feel like that needs to be a little, yeah. I want the helm, this thing to be kind of like to be black. Okay. Yeah, the hair is going to be interesting because white, right? Like it's he's albino, so we're going to give this cool torque-like thing that I already have a design in my head, so I'm thinking about it while I'm doing that. Oh, that's the. This side, I think of his hair, we're gonna maybe carve it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe show some of the end here, or this upper area, and then let the rest just kind of get lost. And do the same sort of here. Have his traps coming down. Shadow from the thing. That's his robe. And just have the darker hair here where it's. Okay. And then there's the dragon. Dragon's gonna have these ruby eyes or something. Oh yeah, we'll have it biting into his hair, so there's some overlap there. And then we'll have these. Oh, it'd be crazy. This thing is made out of like black marble, right? So they're kind of intimidating looking, but really beautiful too. Like you saw them, you'd be like, damn, that's really cool. Question though is how much of this, how am I gonna depict this? I want to keep the lines kind of open. I don't want to get too crazy with the darks. Oh, shit. Oh, we're gonna do this. There we go. And then have the mouth, the lip kind of curled down. No. I kind of want this to be really delicate looking. This sculpture. And I have to establish where I want the light source to be. And I think I'm going to leave that open for now, and I'll deal with that in a minute. I can always mess with that in a little bit. Okay. Let's do this. Have that come down to its back. There we go. Oh, yeah, and his hand is right here. So billowing cloak or robe. We'll give him this on his chest. Chaos Star. And then just kind of if you guys are ever curious about where that came from, the Chaos Star was invented by uh, Moorcock for Elric. I really want the nature of Elric to be apparent with his hands. Hands say a lot about people. We'll give him some sort of a robe or tunic or something underneath. Yeah. But he's also wearing like this baggy sleeved robe on top of it. And it's also like his robe is going down here too. So we have this situation. Okay, where's the dragon? It's gonna end here. So we have this Elric's robe, and then the inside. Like I said, I want this to be quick. I don't want to, have this really. We'll have these wings kind of creating like they scoop. Have a little bit of a yeah. Now, I think what I'm going to do is give him, like, these are going to be gold. His scales on his chest, but then his neck, the body is going to be made of black marble. So, almost like something you'd see out of a Destiny story. You know, carved with scales. And we'll do that. Now I need to make sure this reads, so I've got to be really careful about how I do this. That's the big thing. I could just make the dragon solid black. And then just suggest some of that texture. You know, and really just like, because this is going to be gold, so we're going to have this. These horns are going to be interesting. Well, it should probably be. There's going to be a highlight there. There. And then you have that. that to stay kind of light looking. And then okay, have this leg here, but it's like a weird leg. It's not like a, it's like a gargoyle leg, so it's not going to be like totally realistic. There'll be these big claws that are resting on the stone. And then we're going to have this, where it's going to be, the light's going to kind of hit it. But I also kind of want to do the, like, texture. We're going to lose that on the leg a little bit. Yeah, like this is all going to, be, yeah. So this is gonna pretty much, there we go. Yeah, and then yeah, and then of course Elric. Like, well, I guess this. Oh shit! I forgot his wing. So the wing will come down here, and then like that, and then we'll have this dark under here for sure, and then this, which, yeah. And then back here, I really don't want to get crazy here with that. So I think it's safe to, yeah. So, yeah. That's his other arm. Probably have that coming off, like another part of his robe, right? So we can actually just cool and kind of flowy with that. Not much more. I want to kind of leave that kind of, do its own thing back there. We'll make these a little darker to pop that dragon forward. And I'm gonna do that. Okay, and then, whoops, oh yeah, that's good. That, I'm gonna, there we go. Now the wing, I want this, oh shit, okay. I want the wing to have some of what I put on the body, but not. Oh, I hate it when my eyes start watering from looking at this damn screen. Okay, that's good. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, now this. I wonder if it would be okay to go black. Except up at the top. And just let it. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. Okay. I kind of want his hair to blow into his this area here. But it's gonna be tricky. I just heard that song, Tricky. So it was She's Tricky. This I really need to define. I can block out some of his hair to get some of that dragon neck. not lose his fingers. Probably could just black out his hair here, right? That's the... Okay. I want this to come down a bit more. Oh yeah, it's weird. It's cool. It's like a cloak or something. I don't like it. But I like what I do with his helmet. So what we're gonna do is just get rid of it and draw his stuff back in. Yeah, just have it get lost in shadow right here. Oh yeah, we'll have this cool kind of hem that's a little decorative, or at least it suggests that it might be. Maybe runes or something. You know, and it's here too. But we can't really see as much. You see it here. Yeah, and then you see it here. We'll give him a little bit of a... Oop. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Yeah. That's the top part of it. Yeah. All right. I almost want his hand to be more apparent here. I think what I'm going to do is he's actually gripping this thing. There. symbol. And we'll give him another, we'll give him sure his neck is nice and long and nice and thin, right? He's gonna have clavicle there. Long neck. Shadow of his cloak, which is heavy. And I kind of want this to just peter off. I don't really want to find too much there. I don't mind having these heavier lines here just to give some weight. But I'm going to kind of leave this down here, sort of. Yeah, let that taper. Yeah. And this is going to be darkest right here. Do I want to go really dark? Yeah. No, we're going to leave that. Now his hair is going to be interesting because I need it to work. Like I don't want it to just be this kind of weird thing that just kind of, it needs to work. So I'm not gonna look at my drawing for this because I need to design it here and make it function. Maybe it's not even as windy as I initially had it. Maybe it's just sitting on his shoulders, but it's kind of blowing. We could even define his shoulders a little bit more and give these this weird kind of cool decorative shoulder pads or shoulder decoration thing. And those, yeah, because he's a sorcerer. Also royalty, so we're gonna. I almost feel like yeah. I can't remember his cousin's name. I was gonna add her in here somehow. He is in love with his cousin. His whole situation is just like so crazy. It's so tragic too. It's like he's in love with this woman, and I think it's like his other cousin is in love, or his friend or something is in love with her too, and it's this big messy triangle. Kind of stuff you'd see in a soap opera, pretty much. We'll have his hair just kind of blowing off this way, right? Behind him. Give him rings. A pinky ring. And oh, somebody just got in a wreck. It went. I don't know if you guys heard this, like, boom. Oh man, I've been in enough wrecks to know that sound. I wonder if somebody, like, I hope nobody got hurt. It didn't sound like it was a serious. Just sounded like fender bender. Still, that'll ruin your day. I'm gonna drop this down because I want one that looks better, but two, um, I want this to be the same black marble. Only it's going to be dark, right? Because it's in front. I like the light kind of coming from back, from here. We're going to do this, so there's some sort of decorative quality to this. I forget what I was talking about. Oh well. Make it look like it's at an angle. Add a ding in the stone here. Although I feel like there wouldn't really be many dings in the stone because it's. But you know, I mean, you never know. Yeah. Okay. And then his hair. Yeah, see, I like this a lot better. Like it's just. I always imagined it with really long hair. We're gonna give him the same. We're gonna give him runes here too. On his robe. Or the sleeves of his robe. There you go. There we go. And then yeah, we'll leave that. Do that. Oh shit. No. Yeah. Okay. It's always a nice, interesting balance to get the level of freshness yet the level of finish. It's always a challenge. You can definitely leave one behind while you're getting the other. Okay. Do that. And then, oh shit. Do that. Add some texture there. I don't want his face to get too crazy. Like, I need it to be the focal point. There we go. I need really going for a specific thing here. Mark. It's close. I may be able to get away with that. And then that. That. Thin that finger out more. That. Okay. I'm gonna mess with his hair yet still. I'm not done with that. That's something I keep coming back to because I'm like, I know I'm not done with it. Gotta be careful here. That 8-pointed star might not be such a good idea, pending. I might lose it unless I can find a way. Oh, there we go. Okay. Problem is black and black here. I mean, I could have made this more open, I guess, but no, I want to keep that. But when I come down like that, and when I come down like that, yeah, okay. Then I'm gonna carve this out. There we go. But then carve it back in a little bit. There we go. No. No. Okay. All right. Careful about his fingers. There we go. Now his hair. His fucking hair. All right. Okay. Okay. How to handle the hair. And one of the reasons that Elric appeals to me so much is because he's different. Like it's and I like characters that are very interesting and have unique backstories or unique that are different than the typical. Which is funny because I also like the typical, but I also really enjoy characters that have some weirdo thing going for them that are interesting and unusual in some way. Elric is most certainly that. Very creative. This is way forward too. This is like the closest thing to us, pretty much. So I gotta make sure it's suitably thick there, and this isn't too thick. I like the idea that this can be a little crazier, like up even like that. Yeah, it is crazy, like weird. I don't know. And that hair, though, God, it's elusive. I think I just don't work on it. I just don't work it until I'm happy with it. That ultimately, that's what I learned over the years, is that there's something that I don't understand or see. I actually something I learned uh, from Lee Elmore. He used to talk about he used to talk about Keith Parkinson a lot in the videos that I watched. There were a couple he would talk about how Keith just kind of knew what to do with color sometimes. Like he would just plop color down and be like, "Yep, that's it." You know, and you'd be like, "How the fuck do you? How'd you do that?" Right? Like he'd be totally. He's like, "I just spend forever working on a piece." Right? He's like, I sit there and I just put color down, then I don't like it, and I smudge it out, and I'll put more color down, and I don't like it, and I'll. He's like, but I just he just works it, and it didn't hit me It was kind of like what my professor told me in college. What he was talking about didn't really hit me until I started painting seriously, and I found that if I just kind of like there are situations where I just kind of know where things need to go, like Keith, and then there are situations where I have no idea where things need to go, and I find that I just have to keep working it and just be patient, and it'll eventually solve itself. I don't know how the fuck it does it. It's just it happens, but it does. But because it does, that taught me to just trust the process. That this will come together. I just have to be patient and not rush it and just yeah. See, I'm overworking this. It's frustrating, Cause it's like because you're sitting there going, God, this is so easy. Why is this so hard? It's like, well, it just is. There's no point in getting upset about it. It just work it until it's done, dude. And then settling into that is really nice too because it's like it kind of gives you the excuse to just kind of not rush, which is good anyway. Rushing is shitty. What I mean, like unless you just, but even I find when I'm at my fastest, and I just kind of know where things go. It's because I'm in a very meditative, relaxed state, and my brain is like, okay, I just see it, right? It's not. There's no um, interference from my monkey brain or whatever they call it, the worry brain. That wants to try and control everything. Ooh, yeah. Because that doesn't solve anything. The monkey brain, really. I mean, it gets in the way more often than it doesn't. Okay. Still feel like Elric face isn't quite up to snuff. I don't want him to look like he's smiling, so I gotta be careful about that. And this is one of the reasons I decided to make the composition taller. I was planning on this to a proper Jack Gauguin homage here. is definitely the focal point. And this is supposed to be quick, so I'm not gonna like sit here and no, we're relatively quick. I'm not gonna sit here and like go crazy on the hair, but I do like where it ended up. Okay. Man, I'm gonna go cross-eyed. I watched that movie Monster Hunter or Monster Hunters, Monster Hunter, Monster Hunters, based on that video game. It was crazy. It was way. It was pretty much everything I thought it was going to be. It was entertaining. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. I'm glad I got to see it because I've been meaning to see it for a while. I just wasn't going to pay for it. Okay. I really, that's where the highlight's going to hit. Okay. And let me clear up this tangent. Okay. And yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it. Oh yeah, I think that was it. I think I'm gonna call that. Although I wanna. This area is still not singing me yet. There's a certain level of polish this isn't achieving. And I'm gonna. That. And then. careful about that. And okay. Okay, I'm gonna call that. Okay, so there he is, Elric kind of hanging out on the top of his, tower, you know, overlooking whatever it is he's looking at. The doom of Lebanon, as the right before his kingdom falls, right? Or just contemplating as he was wont to do, right? Man, a lot of sirens going off tonight. Okay, there you go. Oop. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll see once I get distance and I'm not staring at it for, my eyes aren't watering from all that. I'm glad I stuck with the Yashi Takamano thing for like the last influence there. That was exactly what I needed. That was a really helpful image to look at the end there. And yeah, yeah, cool. I think I kind of want to make the back of his helmet wider, like a highlight there too, maybe. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. And the cursed hair. I need to show the highlight is where the light's hit it. So now I need to kind of clean it up that way. I can live with that. There's a certain visual language I want to maintain, and it's kind of simplicity that I've established. That I don't want to lose. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna call that. Okay, so that's it. All right. Thanks, guys. How long is that? It's not bad. It's about average. I've been averaging. All right. There he is. Cool. Let me. I think you can see. Oh yeah, you can see the whole thing. All right. So Elric, I will post this up here. Oops. Let me This might help to. I'll post this up so people can see it here soon. And yeah, that'll, take care of that. And hope you guys have a great weekend. I will make some more drawings next week to continue Inktober, and I have some cool stuff coming, and that helped. And I look forward to drawing with you guys. And yeah, so and I keep working on this until blue in the face. I could hear little tweaks and shit that I could keep doing that would just maybe make it better. It would definitely make it better. These are quick though, so I'm not gonna sit here and just hammer this. Okay, so there you go, guys. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep working on it. So have a great night. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you guys later.